This is absolutely ridiculous as trade rumors are really starting to pick up for the Toronto Blue Jays surrounding one particular player that not only has fans fired up, but things have already started getting out of hand. And while the Jays are continuing to play well, some of these new rumors and reports from multiple various outlets are downright ridiculous. So to break down those trade reports, as well as discuss a couple of other updates ahead of tonight's game against the Rays. But before we get into all that, folks, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. Your guys' support has been absolutely unbelievable. So you want to help us towards our goal of 20,000 subscribers, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, ton to go over today. Jays are in a very good spot right now. They swept against the Padres. They have to keep the momentum going. I'm hoping we need, as Jays fans, a big win streak for the first time in what feels like forever. However, in the middle of all this, a bunch of trade rumors and reports have started to circulate. And I just want to address them here because they're a little bit crazy, and it is surrounding Bo Bichette. And obviously, Bo Bichette's been playing very good baseball as of late. The Jays have been playing good baseball as of late. But trade reports and rumors like this are going to be at the forefront of conversations no matter what, because he is a pending free agent for the Toronto Blue Jays. And it's a little bit crazy, but there's multiple of them, and I had to address it. So let's start with this here. And you can see this dropped here a couple days ago this one's from Bleacher Report. And there's three that I want to go over today because of how wild things have gotten, both with other teams ready to pounce on the Blue Jays stars, but also the possibility of this actually happening. An asinine trade idea has Blue Jays sending Bo Bichette to the New York Yankees. Now, I do have one that's a bit more realistic here, but I wanted to put this out here because the amount of, we know Yankees fans, just fans in general, of reporters, even writers of other teams that have the Jays sending Bo Bichette to a million different places has gotten out of hand. You can see here, things have not gone how anyone envisioned with the team sending 2 games under 500. Of course, since then, they swept the series, so that's obviously, does some good things. Because of that, though, trade speculation surrounding Toronto will begin to heat up, with many analysts putting together some ideas about how the franchise can sell off some of their expiring contracts to get pieces back in return that can help Vladdy. And contrary to popular beliefs, not all ideas are good ones. And Andrew Wright of Newsweek put together a package sending Bo Bichette to the New York Yankees, which is a little bit ridiculous. And this is the exact, report and quote. Because of Toronto already being 2 games under 500 and not looking like much of a playoff threat, they've bounced back since then. But I want to bring this up because conversations will be had all the time. A Bichette trade makes perfect sense. The Yankees swooping in and making a move with a division rival would prove just how serious they are, while Toronto could ship out Bichette if they continue to spiral. At the end of the day, we have another one here, which is, very possible. I want to bring this up, though. This is something we're going to have to deal with for a while now. And it happened with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It happened with a bunch of different players. But the reason this is super, prevalent here is because as the trade deadline inches closer and closer for this Toronto Blue Jays team, rumors like this are going to pick up. And if they do start to fall, or if they continue to play well, either way, Bo Bichette trade, calls are going to be coming in. There's going to be rumors about it. Now, is he going to go to the Yankees? I cannot see a world where it happens, but it goes to show how many teams are ready to pounce, even those who are unrealistic, for Bo Bichette. And it's going to be interesting to kind of look at it, going forward here. And there's another article that dropped surrounding the Dodgers. And the Dodgers are a bit more interesting here. You can see this here. There's been plenty of talk, according to this reporter, about whether the Jays could move on from Bo Bichette. The Jays' plan is to try to win a World Series. Extending Bo Bichette might be the better plan. However, if they want to move on from him, the Dodgers could take advantage of it and add him to an outfield. And the Dodgers have been long linked to Bo Bichette, and they have a ton of prospects. And if the Jays were ultimately going to move on from Bo Bichette, which I don't think is something they're going to be doing, at least for the time being or for the immediate future, it's something they could be doing, at the trade deadline if things spiral. But I don't really want to think about necessarily the actual action of them trading Bo Bichette. I think if anything, they're going to actually be buyers at the deadline. But as so many reports came up that it's ludicrous, and I just had to kind of bring it up here. You can see here, he didn't get a $500 million contract extension, but I get it. He's hitting 290. I think he's more comfortable to play it. I don't think the Jays are going to the World Series, so the Dodgers could get a potential steal, even though his power numbers are down. So I'm very curious. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on all of these different, reports and rumors, because the Jays are playing good baseball right now. Again, are they a serious World Series threat? That's yet to be seen. We'll have to evaluate where Atkins does at the deadline. But the fact that Bo Bichette isn't extended yet is not only, it's a little bit interesting, but it spurs speculation for other teams around, the MLB to come in and swoop Bo Bichette in what would be, a trade here. But I wanted to bring it up mainly because do I think that either of these trades are going to happen? I don't think so. I don't think that, Dodgers could make sense, but I don't think the Yankees trade's going to happen. The Dodgers, on the other hand, if the Jays decide to trade Bo Bichette, you're then trading him to, of course, the NL. But not only are you trading him to the NL, you're trading him to, a super team, which is one of the issues there. But let me know down below, would you trade? Because there's also rumors you can see here about Bichette and the Milwaukee Brewers, about how the Brewers have been stuck in the same postseason purgatory. Of course, Willy Adames signed elsewhere, and he joined a lineup that has a bunch of other guys. There's an unbelievable amount of articles, circulating surrounding Bichette, and it's simply because a trade is very possible at this year's deadline. Though I'm going to take the positive approach and kind of think, hey, Bichette, he's going to remain a Toronto Blue Jay at least until the trade deadline. From there, we'll see if the Jays continue to stay on a hot streak. I think they're obviously going to try to keep him and, add around the trade deadline. But if things take a spiral, these are the teams to look out for. And it's going to be a long season of this, but especially as the trade deadline comes closer, a bunch of reports. But I did this video because I wanted to see your guys' thoughts down below. A, would you even consider trading Bichette? Let's say the Jays are hovering around 500. B, do you think the Dodgers or the Brewers are a good choice? And C, what are your overall thoughts on some of the packages? I mean, the packages would be, you need a lot of prospects, even if he was having a bit of a down year there. But a couple other things here before we wrap up. Now, obviously, the Jays are in an extremely good spot right now, right? They have a schedule that is pretty favorable to finish out the month. The Rangers just got swept. Their offense is terrible by the Yankees. They play the Rays tonight. And I've been saying this a million times. This Jays team has been unable in the past couple of years to really, they've had one or two here and there, but to really go on a big win streak. And this is the year. This is the time now for the Jays to do so. Their offense is, hitting well. Springer and Kirk had a day off yesterday. Hopefully Santander is going to be available tonight. As of the time of recording, we're not entirely sure. You need to take care of the Rays, either win 2 out of 3 or sweep. The Athletics, towards the tail end of the month, have been absolutely abysmal. Lost 9 straight. The Rangers haven't looked good. Lost 3 or 4 straight. This is the time for the Jays. You got past the hardest part of the schedule. You swept the Padres, and this is it. This is the time. Create some cushion, push for that wild card spot, and ultimately, I think they're going to be able to do so here. I think I have a lot of confidence in tonight's game, but at the same time, the Blue Jays pitching staff is still a little bit iffy right now. Tonight's starter has been confirmed to be Eric Lauer, which it's not the best starter, especially given the fact that you need to win these games. And, there's been a lot of talk about punting games, all these different things. Like the Jays yesterday, I thought they were kind of punting just simply because of how interesting the lineup was, but it ultimately worked out. But Eric Lauer starts today for the Jays. He'll have some leash with Toronto using most of the pen in some form, yesterday. So a lot of bullpen use yesterday with Batten Francis only going 4 innings. You have Eric Lauer coming out of the bullpen today, and hopefully the Jays will get some reinforcements soon in the starting pitching department from Max Scherzer, from some other guys like that. And one other note as well, Cal Steven, their second-round pick in last year's draft, absolutely dominant. Is he going to be a Jay this year? No, but the pipeline of pitchers is really starting to look promising, right? And it's something we haven't seen for a very long time. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on the ridiculous trade rumors, but also, of course, Eric Lauer being the starter tonight. Got to pray the Jays can get another win their 4th straight. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys later.